That summer was the best of my life, electric with a heat that clung to everything, making the air thick and the days long. It was supposed to be about escaping the relentless sun, about finding relief in the cool embrace of the pool in our backyard. But that afternoon, what started as just another swim turned into something I never could have predicted. My mom had always been a quiet, steady presence in my life there, but always at a distance, like a shadow you could rely on but never quite touch. We swam together almost every day that summer, but this time felt different. The way she looked at me, the way the air between us buzzed with something unspoken. It was like I was seeing her for the first time, and I couldn't shake the sense that something was about to shift. The heat that summer was unbearable, the kind that made your skin sticky even in the shade, the kind that drove us to the pool day after day. It was our sanctuary, a place where we could be together without the need for words, without the weight of expectation. In the water, my mom was different. She moved with an effortless grace, like the pool was her natural element, and she'd taught me everything I knew about swimming, every stroke, every technique. But beyond that, we rarely spoke. The water gave us permission to exist side by side in silence. No need for conversation, no pressure to fill the quiet. That day started like any other. The sun scorching the earth, the pool shimmering like a promise of relief. I grabbed my towel and headed to the backyard, where my mom was already sitting at the pool's edge, her feet dangling in the water, her gaze fixed on some distant point I couldn't see. There was always a barrier between us, an invisible line we never crossed, but today, something felt off-charged, like the air before a storm. I slipped into the water quietly, letting it wrap around me as I floated on my back, staring up at the endless blue sky. For a while we didn't speak, the silence comfortable, familiar. Then she broke it. "You've gotten better," she said, her voice soft, almost cautious. "Your strokes, they're more controlled." It was a small comment, but from her it felt like high praise. I didn't know how to respond, so I just nodded, feeling the water ripple around me. Her eyes were on me, not the usual fleeting glance of a parent checking in, but something deeper, more curious. It made my skin prickle, not unpleasantly, but in a way that left me unsettled. The air felt heavier, like we were both waiting for something to happen, though neither of us knew what. We swam together for a while, gliding through the water, keeping that familiar distance between us. But the barrier that had always been there was starting to crack, and I could feel it. Something strange happened as I swam past her. Her gaze lingered, subtle but undeniable, and when I glanced over, her expression was calm, unreadable, but her eyes held something I couldn't name. That was when I knew things were changing. The pool wasn't just a place to cool off anymore, it was something else, a space where the rules of our relationship were shifting. I didn't know how to feel about it, confused, intrigued, a tangle of emotions I couldn't sort out. We stayed in the water longer than usual that day, swimming side by side. The silence between us no longer empty but heavy with something unspoken. Neither of us had the courage to say anything, so we let the moment linger, suspended in the water, knowing that whatever was happening, it was only the beginning. The days that followed were strange, like a fog had settled over us. We kept swimming together, but the comfortable silence we'd once shared was gone, replaced by something heavier, something that made every glance, every movement feel significant. The heat didn't help. It was oppressive, turning the world into a haze of steam and sweat, making the pool more necessary than ever. But it wasn't just about escaping the heat anymore. The pool had become the only place where this new, unspoken thing between us could exist, where I could try to make sense of it. Every time I caught her watching me, my stomach twisted, not with fear but with something else, something that pulled me closer even as it scared me. I'd always seen her as just my mom, the woman who helped with homework, who sat quietly at dinner, whose approval I craved but rarely got. But now, in the water, she was someone else, someone I wanted to understand. Though I didn't know why. The tension built slowly, like a fire catching in dry grass. Our conversation stopped just short of meaning something, our movements around each other careful, deliberate. Even the way she swam seemed different, more controlled, like she was aware of every ripple I made. It was a Friday afternoon, the sun blazing, when things shifted again. I'd been swimming laps, pushing myself harder than usual, trying to burn off the restless energy that had been building all week. She was sitting by the pool's edge, watching me, her silence heavier than ever. After my 10th lap, I stopped, panting, wiping water from my eyes. I looked at her, expecting a comment about my form, but she just stared back, her gaze intense, unguarded. For the first time, I didn't look away. Something in her eyes made my pulse race, a shiver running through me despite the heat. The world outside the pool faded, leaving just us, the water lapping softly, the air thick with something neither of us could name. Then she stood, moving toward the pool with that quiet confidence I'd always admired. She slid into the water beside me, the distance between us suddenly smaller. the warmth of her presence palpable even through the cool water. "You've been swimming hard," she said, her voice low, almost a murmur. "You're really pushing yourself," I shrugged, trying to play it off. But my heart was pounding. "Just trying to stay in shape, I guess," she nodded, but I could tell that wasn't what she wanted to hear. We floated there, the water moving us gently. The silence no longer empty but charged with something unspoken. Then she spoke again, softer. "You know, we don't talk much." It wasn't an accusation, just a fact. But it hit me hard. She was right, we didn't talk, not really. Our lives had been defined by silence, by things left unsaid. But now, that silence felt like it was demanding to be broken. "I know," I said, my voice barely audible. "I guess I never knew what to say." She smiled, a sad, wistful smile that spoke of missed chances, of years we'd let slip by. "Me neither," she admitted, and for a moment, I saw something in her I'd never seen before: vulnerability. The tension between us hummed, vibrating through the water, making it hard to breathe. Without thinking, I moved closer, just a little, enough to bridge the gap that had always been there. She didn't pull away. If anything, she leaned in, ever so slightly, like she was waiting for something. But nothing happened, not yet. We swam a little longer. The silence different now, almost intimate, but impossible to define. That night, lying in bed, I couldn't stop replaying the day, the way she looked at me, the way the water had felt between us. I told myself it was nothing, that I was imagining things, but I knew better. Something had changed and there was no going back. The next day, I woke up restless, anxious in a way I couldn't explain. The tension that had been building all week felt like it was at its peak, and I didn't know how to handle it. I tried to go about my day, but my mind kept drifting back to the pool, to her. By sunset, I couldn't take it anymore. I grabbed my towel and headed outside, hoping the water would calm the storm in my head. She was already there, sitting at the pool's edge, her feet in the water, her gaze fixed on the horizon. For a moment, I thought about turning back, but something stopped me. Maybe the way she looked, lost in thought, or maybe the pull I couldn't resist. I slipped into the water beside her, and we floated in silence, the tension between us thick enough to choke on. Every glance made my pulse race, my breath catching, but I couldn't look away. Finally, she spoke, her voice low and steady. "There's something I need to tell you." My heart skipped a beat. I wasn't sure I was ready, but I nodded, unable to speak. She hesitated, searching for words. "I've been thinking a lot lately," she said. "About us, about how things have changed." I swallowed hard, my mouth dry. "What do you mean?" She looked at me, really looked at me, and I saw the truth in her eyes. "I don't know," she admitted, "but something's different between us. And I don't think it's something we can ignore anymore." The air crackled. The water suddenly too warm, too close. I wanted to say something, but the words wouldn't come. So we floated there, letting the silence stretch, knowing that whatever was happening, it was only the beginning. The days that followed pulled us deeper into something neither of us could explain. The pool became a refuge, the only place where the world faded, leaving just us and the water. After that conversation, something shifted. I couldn't avoid her, couldn't stop thinking about her words, her eyes, the tension that felt like a secret we couldn't keep. It was a Thursday when it finally happened. The heat was relentless, driving me to the pool by mid-afternoon. I told myself it was just a cool-off, but I knew better. She was there, sitting at the pool's edge, looking more at ease than I'd ever seen her, like she'd made peace with whatever this was. I hesitated, watching her, her gaze lost in the rippling water. For a second I considered turning back, but I couldn't. I slipped into the water, the coolness enveloping me, and waited. She turned, our eyes meeting, and it was like a jolt of electricity. Her gaze was intense, unguarded, and for the first time, I didn't hide either. The air was heavy, suffocating, but I didn't want to escape it. We swam in silence, side by side, the water moving us in slow circles. The silence wasn't hesitant anymore, it was charged with anticipation, a quiet understanding that something was coming. We stopped in the shallow end, standing just a few feet apart, the water lapping against us. The tension was unbearable, like a taut string ready to snap, and then it did. She moved toward me, so sudden I barely had time to react. Her hand brushed my arm, light but deliberate, testing the waters. Our eyes locked, and everything else, the world, the silence, the rules that had kept us apart, faded away. She leaned in slowly, giving me a chance to stop her, but I didn't. I couldn't. My heart pounded, my breath shallow, as her lips brushed mine, soft, tentative, like she was afraid of crossing a line. But the moment our lips touched, something snapped. I couldn't hold back, and neither could she. The kiss deepened, slow at first, then desperate, like we were making up for all the years of silence. Her hands found my waist, pulling me closer, and I didn't resist. My hands moved to her shoulders, holding on, afraid to let go. The world disappeared, leaving just us, the water, the urgency of the moment. We couldn't control it anymore. The floodgates had opened and everything we'd held back came pouring out. The kiss grew intense, our bodies pressed together in the water, the world around us gone. I don't know how long we stood there, wrapped in each other, time both endless and fleeting. When we finally broke apart, we were both breathing hard. The water still lapping around us, there was no regret in her eyes, just that same quiet intensity. We didn't need words, the look between us said everything. Whatever this was, it was real. And it wasn't going away. We swam a little longer, the silence comfortable now, charged with the knowledge of what had happened. When we climbed out of the pool, the sun was setting, casting a golden glow across the water. We wrapped ourselves in towels, saying little, as we headed inside, but the tension was gone, replaced by something deeper, undeniable. That night, lying in bed, I knew this was just the beginning. The days after were a blur. My life split into before and after. We avoided talking about it. At first, as if pretending things were normal would make it so. But every glance, every brush past each other in the house crackled with understanding. We crossed the line and there was no undoing it. I didn't regret it, though it felt like stepping into something real. Something I'd been waiting for without knowing it. The pool became the only place we could be honest, where the lines between us blurred. One evening, as the sun set, painting the sky pink and gold, we found ourselves there again. We didn't swim much, just floated in the shallow end, the silence. Comfortable, no longer heavy with tension. It was different now, like we'd reached an understanding. I've been thinking a lot, she said, her voice soft, her eyes on the horizon. About what happened, I nodded, my heart racing. I've been thinking about it too, every moment. I don't know how to explain it, she continued, her gaze meeting mine. But I know I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose you. Her words hit hard, raw and vulnerable. For the first time, I saw how much this affected her too. I don't want to lose you either, I said. The words slipping out, we stayed there, floating, the silence peaceful now, like we'd found a balance. But reality had a way of breaking through. The next morning, my phone buzzed with a text from a friend. Pool party at Jenna's this weekend. You in? It was a jolt, a reminder of the world outside the pool. I hadn't thought about my friends in weeks, consumed by this other world. I looked up and saw her watching me, a question in her eyes. Are you going? She asked, her voice careful. I don't know, I admitted. I haven't seen them in a while, she nodded, her expression unreadable. And I felt the distance between us widen, not with tension but with reality. I think you should go, she said quietly. You need to be with your friends. You need a life outside of this. Her words were calm, rational, but they made my chest tighten. She was right, I couldn't stay in this bubble forever. But the thought of leaving this connection filled me with fear. I don't want to leave this, I whispered. You're not leaving anything, she said, stepping closer. But you need to live your life, we both do. It sounded simple, but at WASN single quotes T. I went to the party, tried to act normal, but nothing felt right. My mind kept drifting back to her, to the pool. When I got home, the house was quiet. The lights dim, she was on the back porch staring at the pool, lost in thought. I joined her and we sat in silence, the pool glistening in the moonlight. It felt like we'd come full circle, but different, stronger, more honest. It's not easy, is it? She said, her eyes reflecting the water. I shook my head, a small smile forming. No, but I don't think it's supposed to be. We sat there, the quiet filled with the weight of everything that had happened, everything still to come. And I knew, no matter what lay ahead, we'd face it together for better or worse. That was enough.